Hey guys, welcome back to Young Americans Abroad, your best place for weekly content on young American soccer players playing overseas. My name's Austin Van Churn.
And my name's Patrick Ferry.
And welcome to our show. Well guys, we're finally back for season 2, and we got a little bit of a different setup today, different camera angle as well. But you know, we took the summer off, we enjoyed the World Cup.
That's right, great performances there, and we were also playing a little footy outside in the summer.
That's right.
Relaxing a little bit, so it was great to kind of rejuvenate for season 2 here, Austin.
That's right, and we got a lot to talk about today because it's been a pretty big summer so far.
Yeah, pretty busy
for some of our players.
A lot of young players moving abroad, transfer windows always hectic, so exciting
and some good
stuff.
Preseason performances.
That's right,
as
the
well.
ICC.
Yeah, right. But yeah, so let's get into our show.
All right, Austin, so to start off, it's been pretty hectic with a lot of good preseason matches going on for some young Americans. And we just want to start off by touching on some player performances. So Austin, you want to lead us off into a few notable names here?
Yeah, so the first notable name we want to talk about is Christian Pulisic. So Christian's been really lighting up the preseason so far with Borussia Dortmund. Drew a penalty in their game against Man City about a week and a half ago. Looked really good in that game, played only 45 minutes. And then followed that game up with a performance against Liverpool in the second half, and he just killed it in the game.
With all the rumors swirling around.
Yeah. I mean, this is a interesting summer for him to say the least.
Definitely.
Especially with the little boy coming up to him, or the kid coming up to him for his jersey at the end of the game.
Oh yeah, but, that was pretty. It was a pretty cool scene there. But Austin, cool. I want to bring up a point that you mentioned during season 1 of YAA. That Pulisic was not having his best run of form and just needed the summer to kind of rejuvenate and take some time to wind down and come back with his preseason and a new coach and things like that. I know you brought that up, which is pretty interesting, and seems like he's had a good start.
Yeah, I definitely think the times helped him. I think that's really what he needed. And, you know, now he looks more refreshed, just more composed in the final third, which was the big kind of knock on him I had at the end of last year. He just was not, you know, finishing plays in the box in terms of just crossing the ball into dangerous areas or taking, you know, dangerous shots or trying to, you know, connect on that final pass. But during the preseason, he's looked really good so far, and he's looked like he's improved his crossing in the final third, especially, and also, you know, his goal-scoring prowess.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You can see he's been putting in work in the summer.
Yeah, with Eddie Johnson. You know, he was working all summer with Eddie. But yeah, and I don't think we ever did mention, so in that game against Liverpool, he scored 2 goals and drew a penalty for the first goal, and then took the ball off Mario Götze, my man.
You're right.
Who didn't seem too happy about it, but Pulisic scored, so that was cool.
He also toyed around with Alberto Moreno multiple times.
Burned
him.
That's true. But yeah, and then I think for the third goal, he had a shot that ended up getting deflected to Jakob Brun-Larsen, who finished the rebound. So really good preseason so far from Christian Pulisic. We're excited to see what the rest of the summer holds for him, whether or not he's going to stay at Dortmund or not. I kind of hope he stays at Dortmund. I know maybe you think he should go to Liverpool.
We'll see, but yeah, I agree. I think this season would be fantastic just to stay in Dortmund and get back to that level, or, you know, surpass his previous expectations. So
yeah,
we'll see. So
yeah, we'll see what happens. Great performances from him. But now we want to move over to another really exciting young player, and that would be Tim Weah. So Pat, how has Tim Weah looked in the preseason so far?
Yeah, Tim Weah has looked pretty good in the International Champions Cup there.
Yeah.
Great performance against Bayern Munich. So I believe he was in that 9 role, if I'm not mistaken.
He was their lone striker up top.
Yeah, the lone striker up there, and he had a good run. We saw a highlight online there through Twitter, and I guess he had a good ball play to him, was running forward, and there was a defender on his back who was able to hold him off, so that shows he's really building up that strength to be a first-team player. And you know, cool, calm finish, I believe, right through the keeper's legs. But, great for his confidence. His first goal for PSG. So that's big things, even though it is preseason. Definitely great for his confidence there.
It's true, yeah.
And then he's also looked pretty good in his most recent friendly as well.
Yeah, who was it against? Oh, Arsenal.
Yeah, it was Arsenal. Yeah, and it was just recently. And Arsenal ran up the score a bit, but
a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, PSG only has a few first-team players with them right now, and Buffon.
Buffon, yeah.
I think that might have been it, but
yeah, he from some of the footage or the match footage we were able to watch.
He drew a penalty in that game too.
He did draw a penalty
for PSG only goal of the game.
Yeah, kind of cut around the corner and got absolutely hacked.
Yeah.
Hacked down, but definitely looks like some good things. He's, it's interesting. A lot of Thomas Tuchel even mentioned that he was impressed by Tim Weah's his speed and just ability to accelerate pretty quickly and really slow the game down when he needs to, but also have that burst of energy to make those really dynamic runs. So the good compliments, and again, I guess you got to take everything with a grain of salt in preseason with coaches, but.
No, we want to keep predicting crazy futures. We're trying to win the World Cup.
Exactly,
yeah.
But also just to kind of backtrack as well, like we mentioned in season 1, Tim Weah really broke out last season with a few appearances. I believe it was 3 in Ligue 1 there.
Yes.
And things along. So it was great to see him getting some minutes towards the end there, and this is a crucial time for him to cement himself in this first team. He's got a lot of competition with $100 million signings and what have you not, but great place to develop Austin. So we're excited to see where he goes.
Yeah, I have a feeling he's going to stay at PSG and not go out on loan.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how much game time he'll get. So I guess that's something we'll monitor and report back to you guys.
Win the league early.
Yeah, that's what you were saying earlier. Maybe get some game time in April or March even. But
we're excited to see where he goes. And also, I know you have another player that you want to discuss here.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if I'm 100% happy with his preseason so far, but that's Josh Sargent at Werder Bremen, who so far has, I believe it's 2 goals and then 1 assist through some of the preseason friendlies that he's gotten game time in. But I was a little upset because recently he's been kind of training, or not training, but playing exclusively with their second team in preseason. So I know it's a big ask of an American player, a young player in general, to come in and get right into a Bundesliga first team. But I just thought maybe he was going to get a little bit more of a run here in preseason. But I mean, he did score 2 goals so far, like we said, and 1 assist. Has gotten some game time, here and there with the first team. Has been training with the first team, which is always good.
That's always good, yeah.
And looks like he'll be with the first team. Just not sure how many minutes he'll play this year. But good start to preseason. Kind of has gotten a little rocky for Josh Sargent recently, but we'll see what the season has for him.
Exactly. I think it's really early, and I know you were mentioning this.
Still believe in him.
Yeah, we believe in you. We believe in you, Josh.
Absolutely.
But also, I know you wanted to. We were talking a little bit off camera as well about some of their strikers, and it seems like I think it was Augustine, if I'm pronouncing it right.
Augustine, yeah,
and a few others that kind of strange that they haven't really been performing that amazing.
Augustine's been given chances after chances for like the past 2 to 3 years and hasn't done anything.
Sargent should be able to jump him in the
pecking
order.
Yeah. I mean, Max Kruse is really good. The other player we were talking about, and also Yuya Osako, who played for Japan this summer, looks like he's a pretty talented player as well. Sure. But we'll see what happens with Josh Sargent going forward for the rest of preseason, and then also into the season, and keep you guys updated. So now we want to move on to another player, and that would be Lynden Gooch.
That's right, Lynden Gooch.
One of our fan favorites.
Our fan favorites here. Sticking with it at Sunderland. I love the commitment he's given to a team that has had extreme troubles just being relegated from league to league. But it seems like this is a great opportunity for him in League One to solidify his place in the first team and get in that starting lineup. His preseason form has been pretty good. I believe he's had 3 goals in maybe 2 preseason games, but
yeah, I think maybe a few more games since those goals, but
But he's looked lively, energetic, and again,
he's looked good from what I've seen.
Has delivered with some goals. So it's definitely a tough time for the club, but to have that commitment from Gooch and be able to help bring that team back into the championship would be a great
and then hopefully the Premier League.
Hopefully the Prem.
Eventually, that's a tall task right now.
It's a tall task, but yeah, it's exciting, and I know there's another player we also want to touch on as well. That, hopefully we'll be able to get some first-team action, but we'll see.
Let's hope. And that would be Emerson Hyndeman. So Emerson Hyndeman scored a goal in preseason, played against Sevilla and also Levante for Bournemouth. Got the goal against Levante, I believe. And
Shaq Moore wasn't playing him.
Well, that's of course that's it. But he's looked good so far this preseason. Is finally healthy for a preseason, which is good. And Eddie Howe's been playing him. He's been in the first team squad all summer, training with them as well.
It's a good sign.
So let's hope Emerson can finally break into that first team with Bournemouth and at least get some minutes. Because it looks like Eddie Howe does rate him, just from the tweets and what Bournemouth's been putting out about Emerson. It seems like he's a player that's still in their plans. So
yeah, definitely.
We'll see what the Premier League season holds for Emerson. And there's still a long part of the summer left. Still got a good
coming up.
A few weeks left. Yeah. So and then we have one final player we want to touch on for preseason, and that would be Antonee Robinson. Who, Pat, if you want to just go quickly over his summer so far.
Definitely, and like we mentioned, he's had a strong, last year on loan, especially the second half with Bolton there. So.
And he looked good over the summer with the U.S.
He did look great over the summer. We got to see him a little bit.
Yeah, we did in person.
So, it was exciting. And again, just to highlight, he has been playing some halves in preseason behind Leighton Baines, who obviously is a extremely good veteran there for Everton, but he's looked pretty good. Some of the Twitter reactions I've seen, some highlights, his defending looks up to par for the Premier League, which is exciting to see, although it is preseason. And then even his attacking and some of his crosses have been more improved. So you can see his confidence is rising. And it'd be great to see him. I think it'd be pretty good if he could get that backup spot with Leighton Baines.
Yeah, even if he doesn't play consistently.
Just to be there, and then also wouldn't be a horrible thing to go back on loan and see him kind of develop again, because it seems like him and CCV have done fairly well on their loan spells. So.
Yeah, CCV didn't look great the other night though.
That's true.
Spurs game, from what I heard, I didn't actually, wasn't able to catch the game, but that's good for Antonee Robinson. Exciting.
Absolutely.
So so now we're going to move over to our transfer segment of the summer. So let's go over to that.
So this next segment here, guys, begins with our transfers of the young American players throughout the summer. So they've been making some waves, Austin.
Yeah.
And we want to begin with an exciting player who can rejuvenate his career in the Bundesliga.
That's right. And that would be Bobby Wood. So Bobby Wood moved this summer from Hamburg to Hanover on loan. So he'll be back in the Bundesliga next year, which some people might not be happy about. But, I think we're pretty excited about the move. Hanover is a decent club. They're kind of bottom of the table Bundesliga, a Bundesliga team. However, I think they're a little bit better suited to Bobby Wood's play style. And I think, they also have a good striker, Nicholas Fulkrig, who was their best player last year, scored 16 goals, had 3 assists, I believe.
So you see Bobby Wood
Bundesliga season
potentially coming in as a backup to him, or?
I do, and I think that Bobby Wood might be better suited in that role. Obviously, we'll see how the season goes. If he's not getting any game time, then this move back to the Bundesliga is not going to help him at all. However, I do think Hanover, thinks highly of him, because the quote from their coach when he moved there was something to the effect of, Bobby was very highly rated a few years ago, or that 1 year when he played really well for Hamburg, and we're really lucky to have a player of this caliber at our club. So I think that quote shows that the coach really does value him, and I think this year he'll be getting some minutes, and I think he's just in a different situation. Kind of gotten out of that groggy headspace he was in.
Yeah, it was a toxic environment, and they were struggling the year before that. You could just feel they were going to.
A few years before that too. They weren't doing so hot. So all those factors together, and I think I could speak for both of us. I think Bobby Wood's going to have a better year in the Bundesliga this year, and we'll just have to see, how good of a year he has.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think we're excited about the move. So now we want to go over to another striker. talk about his move this summer. And Pat, who would that be?
That's right, and that's Andrija Novakovich there. So we're excited to talk about him just because he's had a tremendous year on loan from Reading to Telstar. Scored, I believe, 22 goals in all competitions and 38 appearances, which is great.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, couldn't get out of that playoff race to promotion to the Eredivisie, but still a great season. And he was able to get some appearances with the U.S. men's national team. And another player we were able to see.
In person,
in person there.
So go check out our video from the USA-Bolivia game.
That's right. Great
won't
video.
Be disappointed.
But yeah, he's again looking pretty confident to go into another loan with a team in Eredivisie here, Fortuna Sittard, if I'm pronouncing that right.
That's right, and they just got promoted.
That's right. So great opportunity for him to solidify even a starting position with that team, or just getting some consistent minutes in a league that includes Ajax and some other notable teams.
Yeah.
So exciting to see. And also, Austin, he got some pretty good news from his parent club there.
Yeah,
Reading. Reading. So he was in talks with them over the summer, and they signed him to a 2-year deal and told them that he could potentially be in their plans for the future. So if he really performs well this season on loan, we could expect big things from him in the championship. Yeah,
and it's a step up. So hopefully. It's obviously a bigger challenge this year, so hopefully he rises to the occasion. And Novakovich is definitely someone we're excited about for the future.
Absolutely.
And so another transfer, this time another player that we've talked about a lot over the past year, and that's Shaq Moore. So, Pat, where has Shaq Moore gone this summer?
Shaq Moore is now, correct my pronunciation here, Reus Deportivo. So yeah, I think this is a pretty good move for Shaq Moore to get some first team minutes, especially Levante has their captain that came back. I think his last name's Lopez there from injury, so he's recovering. They also have Koke, which we've mentioned before.
From Schalke.
Yeah, from Schalke, and then another strong outside back as well. There's a lot of competition for that spot, so definitely good to see Shaq Moore head to this Segunda, I believe, the second tier in Spain's team, just to get some playing time, and we'll kind of see how he develops. He is 21, Austin, so at least he's still young. And we've seen some good looks from him with the U.S. Seems like he's done pretty well in camp and has the speed and athleticism that we could use at outside back. I think it's just developing some of those minor. I know you mentioned off camera here spatial awareness, or just being able to put yourself in the right situation as a defender. Things along those lines.
More experience, I guess. I was kind of trying to say, but I mean, the only way you're going to get experience is if you play. So
absolutely. So
that's why.
Yeah, again,
it was pretty good. I think.
Reiterating, I think this is a good move for him, and we'll look forward to seeing some good performances and discussing Shaq Moore in the future.
Yeah, that's true.
But also, we want to shift back to the Bundesliga here with another young prospect that looks like he could make an impact this season. So
and that would be Timothy Tillman, who will be on loan from Bayern at FC Nuremberg this season. Recently promoted FC Nuremberg as well. So I think Timothy Tillman is going to have an interesting season this year. It's a big move to move from a U19 team to the Bundesliga. I thought he was going to go on loan to a 2 Bundesliga team this year personally. So it'll be interesting to see what Timothy Tillman can do at Nuremberg.
Hopefully we'll be talking about him more often.
And I mean, I hope he plays well. The big thing for him, I think, is what position he plays. So at the U19 level, he was kind of a cam, although he played on the wing at times. And it's a similar problem that I think Julian Green is facing right now at Greuther Fürth.
Doesn't have a set position there.
Yeah, and last year he played as a cam, Julian Green, and played pretty well for a good stretch of games during the season. But when he was pushed out onto the wing, he kind of was neutralized / his skills just did not really, he wasn't able to create or play well on the wing. His skill set just isn't suited to playing on the wing because he's not fast enough, doesn't have the skill on the ball. And it'll be interesting to see if Timothy Tillman will have that same challenge this year at Nuremberg. Now, one thing when I was looking through Nuremberg's team, they're very thin at the winger and like attacking midfield position. So it should be minutes should be able to be available for Timothy Tillman this year. And it also depends, I guess, on what system they play. So that's something I didn't look at just because Nuremberg is, you know, a team that I wasn't really in sync with. But
we'll be knowing more about them now.
Yeah, well, we'll be paying attention to them for sure. But it'll be interesting to see, I guess, what system they play, where Timothy Tillman fits in, and then if he does fit in throughout the season, how many minutes he'll get. And we'll be, you know, reporting back to you guys, since he's a player that a lot of people are excited about. He said he was willing to switch to, you know, America and play for the United States men's national team.
Being a dual citizen there,
That's right. So Timothy Tillman moved to FC Nuremberg on loan this year from Bayern, and a big year ahead for him. So now we want to go to the Eredivisie again.
That's right.
And a player that played in Belgium last year for a short period of time will now be playing for NAC Breda.
That's right.
And that's
Erik Palmer-Brown. As I like to call him, EPB. So that's another exciting prospect that we were able to catch a glimpse of. And with the U.S. there, and he, again, like Austin said, just to reiterate, his parent club is Manchester City, and he went out on loan pretty late in the season to the Belgian side, KV Kortrijk.
It was really late.
It was late. So, you know, it's a tough situation to come into, trying to insert yourself in the lineup. I think they had some injury troubles with their starting center back and some cards, I think, accumulated over, and he was able to get in at a pretty crucial time for Kortrijk during their playoff battle for that Europa League spot. So it's definitely exciting to see him make an impact at the end of the season and really get this good move to the Eredivisie, Austin. And we've seen Miazga and a few other just Americans perform well in that league.
Josie Altidore. That's true.
Yeah, again, I think Austin, it's a good situation to see what he can do, especially for the whole season. So.
And Man City uses NAC Breda kind of as a feeder club, I guess you would say, kind of like Vitesse is used for Chelsea. So he's not alone at the club with like some other Man City loanees. So maybe he'll get integrated with them and they'll find some rhythm, and hopefully he'll find a lot of playing time this year because he's someone who needs to get minutes under his belt.
Definitely.
No matter what league he's in.
Definitely. Just to follow up on there, that's a great point you brought up because he's at that crucial age, I believe 21, where just to get those first team minutes, and it's definitely tough as you get older and older to just be loaned out to so many different teams. So hopefully he can perform really well here and really solidify his spot, maybe if not Man City in the future, just with it's extremely difficult to break into a team like that. I hope he can.
That'll happen.
But it would just be great to see him stick even with a great Eredivisie team, maybe a PSV or a situation like that. So we'll keep monitoring EPB in the future here, and hopefully big things to come. Then also switching over, another player that's made some waves going to Belgium here. Yeah,
been a big player on the rise this summer. A name on the rise, I guess I should say. And that would be Chris Richards, who was in the FC Dallas Academy, just moved on loan to FC Bayern for at least the first half of the year, and will be most likely playing with their U19 team. However, he's been on a preseason tour with Bayern this year for their preseason, and has looked pretty good in some of the games he's come in. Obviously, he hasn't really gotten challenged that much, but he played the other day against PSG for about 30 minutes, I think, then played against Juventus, and I believe another game somewhere along the way too. He played it. But he's looked good.
It's a quick transition though from Dallas Academy over to Bayern.
Very quick transition. Yeah. And Niko Kovac had some good words to say about him. Said if we need him, we're ready to call on him if we have to. But I don't think he's really going to get too much time, or if any time, with the first team this year. I think he'll be mainly with that U19 team. But hey, a good some good dividends, I guess, for FC Dallas and their partnership with FC Bayern. Paying off in some of these loan moves. Bayern's really going after a lot of North American talent recently, which is good for us, in my opinion. Alphonso Davies, also a lot of loanees on trial, or sorry, not loanees, but trialists. And that's Ulysses Yanez was there, Cameron Duke.
Was Taylor Booth another name? Or?
Taylor Booth will probably be moving there. It's still not confirmed, but he'll probably be with their academy at some point in the near future. And yeah, there's a few more names that we're not bringing up. But Chris Richards, one to definitely keep your eye on, a player that's gotten a lot of recent fame for those performances. And another player that we'll be keeping our eye on even in the U19 Bundesliga this year, and we'll report back to you on them.
Oh, yeah.
So now we want to go over to the Swedish League and talk about a player that we've gotten increasingly excited about the more we've filmed, and that would be Romain Gall, who just moved to Malmo from Sundsvall.
Sundsvall, yeah,
so,
that's right.
Pat, how has Romain Gall looked, and tell us about the transfer.
Sure, yeah. So again, he just actually, we were watching earlier his debut. They actually deployed him more as a left mid, or kind of like left winger there. Yeah. So it was great to see him move to a big club in Sweden that is competing for a Champions League spot in the playoffs. Zlatan's club, yeah. So, and he was actually, Austin, just to bring back to GIF Sundsvall, he was only there for, I believe, 16 games. Yeah. Which is pretty impressive, and how quickly things can change in football. So if you're performing very well, I think it was 9 goals, 5 assists, something like that, which is great impact he had. Malmo must have noticed right away to just snatch him up here, and here we are talking about Romain Gall coming from, I believe 3rd or 4th tier.
Yeah,
right?
I think it was the 3rd tier in Sweden just a few years ago.
So really amazing to see him persevere through some of those challenges as he started out pretty well with the youth setup in the US, and just kind of giving it a shot in Sweden and really building up to the top. So he literally started from the bottom. He's getting there. So
Drake quote.
Drake quote. Oof. But, no, yeah, we expect good things, and hopefully he can deliver on that stage of Malmo, and maybe we'll see him if they qualify for the Champions League in the group stages.
Would love to watch him on a Tuesday or Wednesday afternoon.
That's right, yeah.
Would love to see Romain Gall here on the big stage under the bright lights.
Absolutely, but another player I want to shift over to that made that move actually to a Belgian club here.
From the Swedish League.
From the Swedish League.
So there's the segue. And that's Brandon Hines-Ike. So he moved from Orebo, which was, again, in the Swedish League, to KV Kortrijk, a team that we've talked about in the past. And, he looks pretty good from the limited game footage I've seen of him. Someone who we've been monitoring, even though we haven't talked about him. But this is, I think, a really good move for Hines-Ike. I think, going to the Belgian league, it's a step up from the Swedish league. And, Kortrijk was good for Erik Palmer-Brown last year, I think. They gave him some games.
Middle, closer to the front of the table, I think 7th
in the playoff?
Yeah, in the playoff.
Like you said. So, I think this is a really good move. Also cool to see that he was a college player, went to USF.
That's right,
in Florida, and moved abroad just because I think either they offered him or he was just trying to go on trial somewhere. And stuck with Orebo. They paid no money for him, and they sold him for, I believe it was like 700,000 to Kortrijk.
And that's, Kortrijk must be pretty serious about that transfer, because they're not splashing out cash like that.
No, but you wouldn't expect maybe them to have that money, but hey, they're taking some stock in our young American players, which is really cool to see.
And another point, Austin, I believe he also has a Irish citizenship too. So
so I think it was Brian Sheretta who reported that he's exploring the possibilities of getting an Irish a passport or citizenship, I should say. And is debating on maybe playing for Ireland in the future. So that's something to keep our eyes on. If he impresses at Kortrijk and does well in the Belgian league, maybe gets another move up, or even right now. Like we should probably be looking at him if he's playing well in that league.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see in the future, what team he plays for, national team wise, and let's hope it's the U.S. because we could use some help at the back. We have we have some good prospects, but we're a little thin, I would say, a little bit. But the final player we want to talk about in this transfer segment is Kyle Scott, who moved back to another club that we're very familiar with.
Yeah, that's right.
So Pat, where would that be?
Yeah, Kyle Scott has just moved to Telstar. So
another one.
Another one. Hopefully he can have as much of an impact as Andrija did. So that'd be great to see. But another, Chelsea academy player. I believe he's actually been there for quite a significant amount of time, since he was maybe 10 or something. You correct me if I'm wrong. So he's really been in their system for a while. And it's tough, especially with the team with that caliber, to get playing time. So I think I believe there's an interview he recently had. Was just kind of checking out
Brian Schroeder. I think
there's another Brian Schroeder. Yeah, some great information.
Schroeder.
But he mentioned specifically that he's getting to a point where he's training and learning a lot with the first team, and then also with under 23s. But it was time to get some consistent minutes, playing time, and see where he really stacked up. So yeah, I don't blame him, and I think it's a great move just to get some minutes under his belt and really see what kind of skill he has, just to get that platform out and get his name. Out there, so
yeah, it's good to get minutes, especially at that young age.
Absolutely.
The longer you wait, the less you develop, it seems, which makes perfect sense.
Yeah, which makes perfect sense. So we'll keep monitoring that situation, Austin.
Yeah. So now we're going to move over to our quick kick segment.
And now, back for season 2. You guys already know our last segment, quick kicks.
So you could test Dwayne Miller. It's Altidore over the wall.
All right, guys, so we're going to work quick kicks a little bit different today. We're going to give you guys a few names of some younger players who have moved abroad this summer, and they're players that we're really excited about, and you guys should be too. So, Pat, who's the first player we want to talk about today in this segment?
Yeah, to start off, we got Akil Watts, who actually moved from the Portland Timbers Academy over to RCD Mallorca. So a great move for a young outside back, and we'll expect good things.
That's true. The next one is Dillon Keane, who recently moved from the San Jose Earthquakes Academy to Stoke City, a 16-year-old striker, and someone that we're definitely going to keep an eye on for the future.
In Austin, we also have Gabe Rosario, a goalkeeper, who moved from Reading to Huddersfield. So it'll be exciting to see where he ends up as well.
That's true. And we also have Gennaro Nigro. I believe we're pronouncing that right. But moved from PDA, which is a team that we're actually we're familiar with, to Roma. He's a midfielder, 18-year-old, and someone that will definitely be on our radar for the future.
And we also have a striker, I believe 16, Jack Imperato, making a move from Santa Ana over to Villarreal in Spain. So that's another American making that move to Spain, and we'll see hopefully some great things going forward.
That's true. And the next player we have is Jamie Dunning, who moved from FC Dallas's academy over to Feyenoord. He's a 16-year-old attacker, a really, really exciting young player, so definitely someone that you guys should keep an eye on.
And we also have, pronouncing this right, Jens Cajuste, who moved over from the Swedish second tier to Michelin, which we're familiar with, Bill Hamid being there. So he's another young, dynamic central defensive midfielder. I believe he is 18 as well. So we're excited to see where Jens goes.
That's right. And finally, we have Niko Gioacchini, who moved from Paris FC to SM Cannes this summer. Was a player who grew up in Washington, D.C., 17-year-old striker, another player that's got a really bright future ahead of him. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe down below and also like our video.
We also have some great social media accounts that have both reached well over 1,000 followers each.
That's right.
Instagram and Twitter, so be sure to check those out.
Yeah, and leave a comment down below if there's any player we talked about that you guys are excited about, or if you have any information about the player or anything of that sort, make sure you leave it down below.
And also, I know this is season 2, but just a familiar ending here, Austin, because we have a few years until Qatar, so I think one day it will happen. And I believe that is...
in 2026.
2026.
It's coming home.
It's coming home. But one day, Austin.
I think one day we will win the World Cup. I know it's a bold claim, but one day it will happen.